Hey guys, it's Marco here, bringing you the second episode of Nintendo Know, the show to tell you the information on everything Nintendo that maybe you didn't know. This week's Nintendo Know is about the only major development studio that Nintendo own in the West, and one that many fans love. Of course, it's Retro Studios. Retro Studios was founded by Jeff Spangenberg October 1st, 1998 in Austin, Texas. This of course was the time when I looked more like this, and didn't have the ability to even say retro. But back on topic, I have a nasty habit of getting on tangents. Retro, however, was not Spangenberg's first studio, because in 1991 he founded Iguana Studios, with around 20 of his friends and acquaintances. Iguana Studios gathered a fairly large amount of success making many installments of well-received sports games, such as NBA Jam, NHL Breakout, and on top of this the Turok series as well. Even later acquiring a studio in England until he left the studio due to a lawsuit between him and the publisher Acclaim. His infamous personality only carried on with his other studio, Top Heavy Studios. I'm sure you'll be able to hazard a guess due to the name of the studio, Top Heavy Studios, and the game cover, that this is a game that got some pretty controversial reception and also some very mixed reviews. And it doesn't look like Top Heavy Studios are ever going to produce another game, as they have now shut down. After the lawsuit with Acclaim was over, Jeff would found Retro straight out of his own home, later finding an official office for the company in Austin, Texas. He gathered around 25 staff members, originally at Retro, many of whom had worked with him previously at Iguana Studios. He then decided to make a bold move. He would pitch Retro Studios to Nintendo of America, whom he'd made links with from his close relationship prior, and managed to convince the NOA president at the time, Howard Lincoln, to affiliate and fund Retro Studios. Nintendo saw much potential in Retro Studios, and made a state-of-the-art facility for Retro, costing well over $500,000. Despite this, the first couple of years were troublesome for Retro, with recruitment being so selective, it affected deadlines at times. In 2001, Nintendo bought Retro Studios from them. At one time, Retro Studios had 4 projects for the GameCube running all at the same time despite the relative small size of the studio. These games included a game called Car Combat, a sports game closer to the simulation games you'd see made by EA called NFL Retro Football than the Mario sports type of games, and an RPG called Raven Blade. Not much is known about Raven Blade apart from that the title of the game was the same as the sword that the unnamed protagonist would wield, and you would fight against all evil in the world and an antagonist called Beast Lord. Pretty standard RPG stuff, but a cool project nevertheless. The final of the 4 projects was an action-adventure game called, well, Action Adventure. And contrary to popular belief, it is not the game that was adapted into Metroid Prime. Rather, Prime was a brand new project altogether. The development of Action Adventure went into disarray after Miyamoto came down to Texas to see the 4 projects, and in particular was not impressed with this project. It would of course later be canned. Retro are probably best known for the Metroid Prime series, and the decision to give this studio the rights to develop a game for the Metroid franchise was a controversial one that puzzled many, and was made just weeks before Space World 2000, an event held by Nintendo that featured unveilings and the demo of the GameCube, previously known as Project Dolphin. Retro were, at one point in development, set on a third-person camera angle, similar to the one in some sections in Other M, but after intervention from the Big N, the camera view was changed to first person, and the game benefited greatly from this in my opinion. On the 19th of November 2002, Metroid Prime released to a critical praise and Retro Studios made their big debut. At E3 2004, Nintendo revealed Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, a game with multiplayer and a fully reworked engine, and also included a far more immersive storyline than the original game. Unfortunately, much of the talent that had made the first Prime game had already moved on to pastures new, meaning that this new team was made up of brand new people, some of them talented, but much of the charm of the original game left. Retro would later create Metroid Prime 3 Corruption for the Wii, which apparently integrated the motion controls well and made some improvements upon the shortcomings of its predecessor Echoes. Retro Studios would then go on to revive one of the most beloved series that was made by Rareware back before Microsoft acquired them, took them over and made them into the hollow shell of a studio that they are nowadays, making such games as Kinect Sports, and letting other people use their franchises because they aren't talented enough to use them themselves. Shame that Rareware is effectively dead, guys. Nintendo had actually wanted to revive DKC for a while, seeing as all attempts to sell Donkey Kong games since N64 had been relative failures, even including the EAD Tokyo developed Jungle Beat, which probably sold badly due to its release at the end of the GameCube's life and its weird bongo control method, despite much critical praise. Kensuke Tanabe was a key figure in the development of DKC Returns, because as well as being a supervisor as he was for the Prime series, he was the one who recommended Retro do this project, and Retro gladly agreed. DKC Returns has gained mass success, and has caused many to dub Retro Studios the new Rare, or the natural successor to Rare. Retro also developed DKC Tropical Freeze on the Wii U, which removed much of the tilt controls that annoyed many in Returns, and came in for critical praise, if not nearly as much success as its predecessor did, due to massive differences in the install bases from the Wii to the Wii U. Also, staff members of Retro in the past have said that each stage in Returns has 3 times more details than an average room in Metroid Prime 3, and DKC Tropical Freeze only tops this. That was one of the things I actually liked about this game, because, I don't know if you know, but Donkey Kong Country, not really my thing after playing Tropical Freeze. That leads us to the end of the history of Retro Studios, and leads us equally to look forwards to the future. Retro are currently heavily rumoured to be in development of a new Metroid Prime game, or at least a Metroid Prime-esque game, which simply delights me, because I believe it is a waste that Retro's talent goes on Donkey Kong Country. I think that Nintendo have so many 2D platformers at the moment, they just don't need any more. But that's enough for my little speech, and I want to really know what you guys actually think about Retro Studios. Do you think Nintendo should maybe invest in more Western developers? Because I personally believe that Retro is, or at least has been, and can still be and will be, one of the best developers in the world. And they're a studio that really excites me, and whatever their next game is, I'm going to adore it, I am sure. Let's just hope that it's something new, or it's a new Metroid. So, what do you think, guys? Please comment down in that section below, and also if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, that would help a lot. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.